All right, what's going on, everybody? Podcast coming in, ExpertTrader podcast. Very first guest, we have Derek on the line right now. Derek, you want to introduce yourself and tell the people at home a little bit about yourself and a little bit about you as a trader?
Yeah, perfect. Well, first off, thank you for having me, Roy. It's an honor to be the first person on ChartAddicts podcast. I'm super grateful for it. My name is Derek Zeledon. I've been trading for 4 years now, full-time, almost 3 years. In about 3 months, you'll make it 3 years full-time that I've been actually trading. I quit my job in July of 2017, but I found out about Forex like maybe February of 2016. I just didn't really take it too serious at first. Nothing major. I was just caught up in life. Caught up in everyday routine. And honestly, I was just complacent. I was content with where I was at until I wasn't anymore. And that's when I actually gave it a go. Now it's about to be 3 years into it. You know, Forex has changed my life in every aspect of it. Monetarily, it's changed my life. The way I perceive life, my perception of what life is has changed. It's brought me a lot closer to my family and the things that actually matter to me. And the most important thing is that it's given me time freedom. For everybody who's listening to this podcast, most important thing about being a Forex trader is not the money. The money will come. It's the time freedom that allows you to have. You know, and I don't think people put enough emphasis into that.
No,
you know, there's no point in making X amount of money if you have no time freedom to actually spend with it. You know, and granted, yes, I've been able to make over six figures these last 3 years consecutively. And every year I've gained more and more, you know, capital. But at the same time, even if I wasn't making that, I would still do this as a profession, is what I'm trying to say. Even if I was making, let's say, 30K a year from trading, you know, I don't like no income claims. I don't like to state numbers, but let's say I was making that money. Let's say in the area that I was living at, the average yearly salary was $25,000. And let's say I was making $30,000, you know, so right above average, not wealthy, not like below class, but right in the middle. I would still do Forex because of the time freedom that allows you to have. You know, my daughter is about to be 8 months now, next week, and I've never missed one single day of her life. I've been to every doctor's appointment. You know, I know her doctor's name. I have her doctor's number. You know, I know everything about her. I know what day she was born. I know the weight. I know what she likes. And, you know, that's honestly one of my proudest things that I love. You know, before a trader, I'm a father. And before, you know, and I'm a husband too. So those are two things that I love. And, you know, I'm grateful for it. And Forex has honestly given me the best life I can ever ask for. And it's only up from here because once you go into Forex, your mind expands. You start entering different spaces of financial literacy that you never knew about.
Yeah,
you know,
for
you
sure,
can't
like
go
investments and you're going to start putting your money to work, which is probably one of the most important things. You can start to use your trading money as investment capital. But Derek, I really like what you're talking about, the time freedom. Like, even if you weren't making the six figures, you would still be doing this because being able to make a regular salary on your own time, at your own leisure, at your house, being able to see your daughter all the time, that really matters. And it kind of goes over a lot of people's heads.
No, it's actually, it definitely goes over a lot of people's heads. And it honestly has to do with people's perception of what success is. If you're making, and I'll give you an example, if you're making 30K, you know, a year at your job now, or let's say, let's do something more realistic when it comes more closer. Let's say you're making $700 a week at your job, right? A lot of people get into trading and they're like, all right, I will quit once I'm making $1,500 a week trading. They automatically want to double their salary. And that is the definition of success. Them being able to quit their job and doubling their salary or doubling their pay. My whole entire thing is, that's a definition of success, but isn't winning, or the same concept of winning would be if you're able to make the exact 700 trading and you're able to replace your job and just do it from home, isn't that winning as well? And this part gets through a lot of people's heads that they don't understand. Of course it's winning, because you don't really understand what type of hustler you are until you have the time to actually think about it. You know, I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I really didn't know. I can definitely say I'm an entrepreneur now, you know? Forex has allowed me to become one. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I didn't know I had that mindset to me. I didn't know I can think so creatively the way that I have thought. different sources of income. Like you said, like you pointed out, because of Forex, I've been able to invest into many different things. We'll go over later in this call what I've like dabbled into. But if I didn't have the time freedom, I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't think about owning ATMs. I wouldn't think about possibly owning pieces of land and real estate. I wouldn't think about having, crowdsourcing different companies and owning percentage of it. I wouldn't think about all these things. And I only thought about it because I was in Forex. And because I was in Forex, it allowed me to gain the capital to then do everything else I wanted to do. And that's the most important thing. It's just the time freedom, like the time freedom that it offers you. Even if your situation is different from mine, I have a family already. So, and I'm 24, so I'm still young, but I have a family already. But that was the decision I wanted to make. Some people, they can be my age or even older and just have themselves, but they need to figure out themselves. And you cannot figure out who you are doing the same old thing every single day. Being grumpy, being mad, working for somebody else. A lot of times employers, they want the best for you, but they don't want you to succeed them. And it's not a characteristic fault on their side. It's just innate. Like, that's just something as a species we just are. For some reason, we just do not want others to do better than us. And since I've been in the Forex space, my heart has been filled with gratitude and just thankfulness that I want everybody to succeed. I don't really care what level of life you want. I want everybody to succeed. But
That's honestly, and we love what you're doing over there, Trinity FX. Absolutely killing it. You've got a lot of great content, free content out there that we can go ahead and link in this podcast at the bottom of this, in the bottom of the description.
I appreciate that.
What you were talking about, a lot of people don't understand why they would make money from home as opposed to most people are raised to accept employment as opposed to like investment, because investment is taught, employment is kind of, you learn it from your parents. So let's dive into you as a trader. This is a Forex trading podcast. How would you describe yourself as a trader, Derek?
As a trader, if I can give you, I'll describe myself in a few phrases so you can understand. I'm very aggressive. Probably one of the most aggressive traders that I personally know. And I know a lot of successful traders. But when it comes to aggression, I'm extremely aggressive. I'm very organized in when I trade. I treat this like a job. I really do treat it as a job. And my style of trading can be definitely classified as price action mixed with just really good understanding of market liquidity is the best way I could say it. Simplicity at its finest. Do I know a lot of different tactics? Oh yeah, I do. Because price action, for you guys who are listening to the podcast, you guys probably heard of price action, probably even dabble into it now. But the way I describe price action to me is the best form of trading. And I'll explain why. Because you're not limited to just one style of entry. I know so much. I know so many different patterns, which is a part of price action. I know candlesticks, part of price action. I know supply and demand zones, again, a part of price action. Everything's a part of price action. Regardless of what you think, everything's a part of price action. Trend lines, Elliott wave, fibs, wave theory, anything you want to say is a part of price action. So because I'm well-grounded in everything, I have different categories where I can see a buy. And that sometimes might be very... it's hard for most traders because sometimes most traders just trade off of one single pattern or they trade off of one single setup. I can go to the market anytime and I'm able to see any sort of setup. It does not matter. And I can have 10 buys and every single one of them be a different reason why they buy. And it's just because of that. I'm well-rounded in so many different techniques, but I don't do the information overload. I don't like, I'm able to, like, imagine I have a cloud in the back of my mind and it's all stored there. And when I look at a chart, whatever my eyes see, it pulls from it. But it's not like the information is just everywhere. It's all stored in a pocket. So that's how I would describe my trading to the best. I'm just really good at price action. I understand market liquidity for my pairs, for what I trade very well. And I'm just very organized with it. I preach treating this as a job. I preach percentage growth when before I didn't preach that. Before I was like, all right, put 200 and flip it, and sometimes I still do that, but like for personal just challenges, you got to make it fun sometimes. And I'm hyper aggressive. I don't need 17 confirmations to enter a trade. If I feel confident enough in the trade, I will enter it. It works for some, and this is what works for me. It matches my personality too. Just in real life, like in everyday life, I'm a very aggressive investor. Not an aggressive person, but I'm very aggressive with opportunities. If I see an opportunity that I like, I go in. I don't necessarily hesitate, and I'm always willing to risk money. I know that sounds crazy, and I say
Oh,
risk.
the
I
thing is,
really mean
I've traded with you, so I've definitely seen that. And the thing is,
yeah,
you know your pairs, and you know them like the back of your hand. And what that is at home for the people that are watching is that's an intuition. So when you've done
yeah,
something enough times, and there's the repetition, and you've practiced enough times, you start to have an intuitive sense of, okay, yeah, I've seen this before. You really don't need those 17 confirmations, like you said. So that's how
no,
you know that's a seasoned trader, guys. I can really attest to that. I can definitely attest to that aggression because you still flip accounts. Now they're just a lot bigger. The
yeah,
200.
yeah, exactly. I would say that 100%. Like you said, you kind of hit it right on the word intuition. It's just an intuition at this point. I like to trade GBP pairs, so that's the Great British Pound for you guys who are just starting off. It's the most aggressive FX pair. So forex base pair, major currency in the market. GBP is the most aggressive. It's the highest valued one. And it moves the most pip count. Now, payouts on GBP are not the best, but pip counts are the highest. Again, that's something else you guys will learn too. But I just love how they move. They just match my style. Now, I will say this. So, depending on when people listen to this podcast, today is March 24th. We're in 2020. We're in the midst of a crisis, quote unquote. But I've never seen the market move this good in my entire life.
Yep.
Right now, it doesn't matter what pair you're in, it's moving. So, honestly, like before a year ago, I would stick strictly to GBPs. Today, any pair can pay out the way that I like because of how fast the volatility is. And that's just, it's an anomaly. It doesn't happen never. It never happens like this. And I don't think it will happen like this for another X amount of years. But we need to capitalize off of it now, 100%.
No,
Um, but yeah, that's how I'll describe myself. 100%. I'm very hyper aggressive, even with investing. I'm willing to put money up for anything that I believe in, and if it doesn't give me a return, I'm okay with it. I'm okay to lose money. And again, I know that sounds crazy, but people don't know when I first started trading. Again, I've been trading for 4 years, and I figured it out like I think around April. I didn't go full time for about another 16 months later. In that time, it's not that I was just like lollygagging. I paid for a bunch of courses. I mean, I bought courses like left and right. I bought everybody's course.
yep.
And I funded accounts and I blew them. I'm pretty sure I would have to do the math, but I'm pretty sure I spent over 25K
Yep.
between funded courses and losing money in
Wow.
that 6 months of learning to trade. And I didn't get discouraged. I know some people who lose $1,000 and they get discouraged trading. They're like, no, it's not for me. I'm like, no, I never had that mentality. I said, this is definitely for me. I just need to fix myself. I never blamed the market. I knew this was an internal thing. I knew the reason why I was not profitable in the market was not the market's fault. It was something that I was doing. I wasn't on point with my trades or whatever the case may be. So
Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and get through that at the very end of this call, because I feel like that's one of the most important things that you just touched on, which is that you didn't blame the markets, you blamed yourself, and I really want that to resonate with people. Let's go ahead and put that off. I have that at the very end, but let's talk a little bit more about trading and a little bit of like tidbits that we can give for people, maybe some value that we can give them at home. So some people, I was asking around, and some common questions I was getting was, especially with our students at ChartAddicts, the common question is, when do we withdraw? And so I guess a simple thing for us would just be, okay, so we'll go ahead and let's get your take on it.
So I have a withdrawal method, and I actually learned this withdrawal method from somebody that I personally know that has been trading for about 17 years, and he's cleared millions. I've seen $1 million withdrawals to his bank account. He's actually, I would say, a mentor of mine. So he taught me the strategy, and the strategy is very simple. It's a 30-30-40 rule. So what I mean by that is this. Let's say your account is at $1,000 and you make $1,000 profit. The way that I do it is I leave 30% of my gains inside the account. I withdraw 70. From that 70%, I put 30 away for taxes. Obviously, you need to pay taxes. You're going to get to a point where you have to pay taxes. When you're first starting out, you don't necessarily have to, but you should definitely still put money away just for anything, and then I keep 40% to myself. So out of the $1,000, $3,300 keeps inside the account to grow the account to maintain growth. 300 goes to taxes, 400 goes to me. It's a very sticky. It's hard to do it that way because you're giving up so much percentage of your account to other things, but you need to understand the longevity of this. It's easier to make $1,000 once your account's 25, 50K than it is to make it at $1,000. $1,000 to $2,000 is a lot harder than 25,000 to 26,000. A lot easier, and that's the goal. So that's why we maintain 30% in there, and then 30% of taxes simply because in my first year trading, I'll be honest, I wasn't literate in that. I just got lazy and I didn't necessarily want to do it. The second year, I needed to do it. I had to do it. There was no question I had to do it. So then at that point, I paid the taxes that were owed, and I adopted this mentality. I adopted this, and this is what I do every single time. And it doesn't matter what level of trading you're at, I teach this. Like 30-30-40 rule, 30-30-40 rule.
That's honestly a great method.
That's the way I do it. Again, it might be kind of hard because if you make $2,000, think about it. So 30%, 600 goes to the account. You would draw 1,400. 600 goes to taxes, and 800 goes to you. So out of $2,000 profit, you're really only maintaining yourself 800, but it's profit regardless. And then the taxes are there on the side. You can use it if you need to. It's kind of like an emergency fund. Like I say taxes because that's what it should be for. But after you get like a CPA and different things like that, 30% is really like 11%. It's never really 30%. It's like more like
consult your if you're at home and you're trading, consult your CPA and ask this gentleman how you can minimize your tax liability. Please consult a CPA. This is not tax advice. All right, Derek, let's get into something else that novice traders might be having a little bit of trouble with, which is being in a bunch of different group chats, being subscribed to a bunch of different ideologies, a bunch of different strategies, and constantly being pulled in one direction or the other. So they never really figure out which strategy is working for them. So what is your take on having, being in like 10 group chats, 5 group chats, whatever it is?
I say cancel that.
Yep.
I don't mean to be blunt about it, but I just say cancel that. People don't understand the importance of just one mentor. Now, you need to find a good mentor, somebody that has the results that you want, of course. But you cannot be going through 7 different strategies. In trading, there are 1,000 strategies. Like, honestly, to trade the Forex exchange market, there's 1,000 different strategies. And very simple. Just when it comes to how to read the market, you have candlesticks, then you have hollow candlesticks, you have areas, you have line graphs, you have bar graphs. You understand? Just through there's about 10 different strategies in itself. And then you can go deeper into multi-level strategies inside of it. So there's thousands of strategies, but there's only one way to control your emotions. There's only one way to be consistently profitable. There's only one way to lose a trade and understand that it was just a lost trade. It happens in the market, and to continue going.
There you go.
That's what it really is about. So I would say remove all the 15 chats, find a mentor, find a strategy you like, find a community that you like. If you want to stay in about 2 or 3 chats, okay, but make sure they're not just goofing around. Make sure the chats are on point with the direction you want to take. Because you can be the most disciplined person in the world. It's like being around a campfire. You need to be around that campfire. And if everybody else is pushing themselves, you're going to instinctively push yourself too. So you need to find somebody or find a group or find a strategy that you resonate with and push forward. 10, 15 chats, get off of that. Do not do that. It will get you confused, and your process to become a successful, consistent, self-sufficient trader will be that much delayed. It's not about flipping an account, guys. I know I said the word flip here. I would like to take that back and really say grow. It's about growing accounts consistently. It's not about making one withdrawal. Yes, and a draw can help you, but there's no point in making, let's say, 10K in January and you don't make any money February, March, and April. There's no point. So it's about consistency, self-sufficiency. Those are the 2 words. And I personally believe you can only do that with about 2 or 3 chats. Like, to be honest, I only carry about 2 chats. Yep. In my personal, I only carry about 2 chats. That's pretty much it. Like, I have maybe 3 chats there, but I'm a part of them somehow, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I have my own personal, and then I have other students that have made their, like, subcategory, and I'm in there as well to, help whenever I can. So that's pretty much it. But having 10 chats, horrible. And
No,
And
I
this is
definitely
actually a
feel that
really
on the
good question.
mentorship side, it gets a little bit tricky because you do have to be involved in a few group chats. Especially, I see you do a lot of the mentoring. A lot of these people
Yeah,
look up to you. But when we're talking about mentoring, when we're talking about good mentors, which is what you said was one of the most important things when you're keeping it to one or two chats. What makes a good mentor? You mentioned somebody that has the results that you want. That's obviously one of the biggest keys, if not the biggest key. But what
yeah.
else would you say would make kind of a good mentor?
Personally, for me, personally for me, a good mentor is somebody that not only has the results you want, because that's materialistic and that's lifestyle. You need to resonate with their personality and just their everyday who they are. I know that might go really in depth, but you need to really just be attracted to that person, you know,
No, could you delve
because
deeper into that? No, I agree
yeah.
with that 100%. People trying
So
to
what I'm
emulate.
saying that is this: if you go on Instagram, you see a lot of people that are very successful in trading. But there's reasons why some people look up to other people that might not be as successful compared to them, simply because their lifestyle is not it. If you're 40 years old and you're just diving into trading, you're not going to try to get mentored by somebody who's 24 years old, parties every day, doesn't have a family, doesn't have the responsibilities that you might have. You would try to find somebody who has some sort of recognition of what your life is and where it could be. So for me, example, I'm a very I don't live very extravagant. I will say this, I eat good. I eat good. I have a nice house. I have nice cars, but I'm not very like flamboyant. If that makes sense. I don't like chains. I don't like all this stuff. I don't like to party very much. I got a family. I have a wife. I have a daughter. Like my perception of things has changed a lot already. you know so people who follow me, I let it be known, and even when they speak to me, I say, listen, I don't necessarily care who you learn from. It doesn't have to be me. I'm okay with that. But just follow somebody that, again, resonates with you, the character that you want to be, somebody that is not just a mentor in results but a mentor throughout life. You need to find people that you want to replicate. you know so it's not just about the results definitely matter, but you need to find somebody that also just carries the same morals as you, same values as you, same vision as you, walks the same life as you.
I
you know
definitely agree with that because the
so
thing is,
that is the
what
most
I've seen in this. Wait, my bad. Go ahead.
no that's no, I was gonna end it off right there. That's like the most important thing, honestly, because you can have 1,000 different mentors results wise, but they just don't resonate with you. and,
For
it, and
sure.
it's the way it is. There's nothing wrong with it. Much love to everybody, and I wish them success in everything they do. But if you're going to follow somebody, it's not just result based, it's just everyday life based, and the way that you carry yourself. So that's the true definition of a mentor. Like, I personally have mentors in my life that they're mentors to me because how they carry themselves, not even that they're result based, but how they carry themselves. I know a lot of really successful traders, and I'm not talking about Instagram traders. I'm talking about like legit success, multi-faceted success because of trading, which is my goal. Not about 1 year, or they just popped off in 1 year. I don't necessarily care about that. I want to see traders who've been around for years. I've been around for years already. That's why people respect me. It's just the truth. That's why people look up to me and respect me, because I've been doing this for years.
For sure.
I have a track record. It's not that I just came out in 2019. I don't know. I have a track record.
No, for
So,
sure.
and that's what it is. So those are my mentors. My mentors are people that I see, and they just have the results I want, and they have the lifestyle that I want too. And that's what I was gonna say before I interrupted you. My bad.
No, no, that's great. That's honestly it. Because a lot of people are trying to emulate people that really don't fit their personality, and so they're trying to trade like an aggressive person, but they're not aggressive, and so
Yeah.
they always get burned. But
Yeah.
if you do find somebody that you resonate with, you can really succeed by just following that.
100%. Yeah, there's no point in duplicating mistakes. If
Yeah,
you can fix a mistake by just listening to somebody else's, and people would be surprised. A lot of times, people just want to help. Again, the same way having envy is innate in our hearts for whatever reason, wanting to help people is also innate in our hearts too. We generally like to help people. It makes us feel good. So people will help you if you just ask the right questions. You just got to ask. A lot of times, it's asking the right questions. But definitely having a mentor, I would say that is a big key. especially in trading and life in general. But in trading, having a good mentor that can properly show you how to trade is very important, because
And
there's
that's
something.
free heat for you guys at home. Free sauce. Take that to the bank. How to find a mentor. Ask, and you shall
Right
get.
questions.
So that's great. So there, we got a few more minutes before this call times out. I was wondering if we
Okay.
can do a quick fire Q&A and try to get some value out to these people before we wrap up the podcast.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, awesome. So, any tips that you would say to a novice trader, somebody who was in their first year? What kind of advice would you give that person? Somebody's been trading for a month, maybe 2 months. They don't really know where to start, how to begin. Advice for that person.
Advice for that person. Number one, don't compare yourself to anybody. That's like an Achilles heel. You compare yourself to people, you're going to have a very rough time trading. Don't compare yourself to any trader. Number two, be humble with your gains. And what I mean by that is this. Be humble with your gains is like simple to say, but there's a lot behind it. You need to realistically have a conversation with yourself and really know how much you need to survive. If you want to be a full-time trader, or you just want to make full-time trading income, these are all questions you need to ask, because being a full-time trader, the lifestyle is nice, but it's not for everybody. I know people that want to be full-time traders, but once they become it, they will be miserable, because their lifestyle, that's just not the person. Some people are very sociable. Some people like to interact with other people. Once you're a full-time trader, that goes out the window. You know, some people like to be busy. Some people have a passion. So that's another question you'd ask yourself. Do I want to be a full-time trader? Or do I want to make full-time trading income? Because they're two different type of things. You know, they're very two different type of things. For example, if you're a doctor, you're not going to be a full-time trader. It's not going to happen. Why? Because your passion is in medicine, is in helping people.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? If you're a fitness instructor and all your life has been fitness because you've had this moment in your life that came, you're not going to switch up. So the most important thing is that fitness. So your passion is fitness, and you can use the capital that you make from trading to invest into fitness, you know? But the difference between being a full-time trading income, be humble with your gains. Have an actual plan of how much you need to make. So trading plan.
Are you a full-time trader? Are you making full-time trading income? Guys, please let that one sink in. Quick fire round, Derek. What would you give advice to somebody who's in the middle of the trenches? They're kind of in the middle of their trading journey, figuring it out. They're in that boom and bust cycle where they can't seem to get a grip on consistency, but they're kind of getting through it. They're thinking about quitting. Quick few liners for them.
Don't quit. Forex has changed my life as well as it's changed your life, Roy, and it will continue to change both of our lives. I don't think right now in the 21st century there's anything better than Forex because of the possibilities that it can provide you in your life and for your family. If you need a psychological boost, definitely listen to Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone. There's an audio, 8-hour audio. Definitely listen to that. And also listen to Mark Douglas, The Disciplined Trader. Another great audio that a lot of people don't know about, but definitely changed my trading career. And just don't compare yourself. And I'm telling you, the reason why I say this is this. If you're self-doubting yourself and sabotaging your own success, a lot of times because you're comparing yourself to the next man. Don't ever do that. Because as soon as you do that, I'm telling you, you might not do it consciously, it might be subconsciously, but it does affect you. So eliminate that and just ask questions. If you're listening to this podcast, you have a great source of resource right now. You can ask me or Roy or any other trader that you know. You know, again, we want to help because we've been through those trenches. And it's not easy to get out of it. And if I think that's the best thing I can tell people, honestly. It's just the mental state. Just surround yourself with good people as well. And you need to have an undying belief in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And it's just like that. When you first start in whatever you do, nobody's going to believe in you. Nobody. Your friends and family are going to doubt you. And you know, we would love to everybody just jump on board and try to help you, but it doesn't work out that way. It just doesn't. You need to have an undying belief in yourself. And once people see your work ethic, and they see your belief system, and they see your success and your growth when it comes to this, then they will jump on board. So you need to have that unwavering belief, unwavering discipline, and just understand that you're going to make it. It doesn't matter what facet of your life you're in right now. You will make it if you put your mind to it. You know, everything that's been created on this earth was created by somebody like you and me. And I think Steve Jobs says something along the lines like that. And honestly, that's like one of the things that just resonates with me a lot, that I play back in my mind. Everything that we have, my iPhone was created by somebody that started out like you and me. And once you have that idea in your mind of how powerful we are, you just have to do it. just have to go and do it. But you need to be realistic with your expectations. You need to understand where you are in your life, what you can afford, what you can't afford, mentally, spiritually, not just financially. And just understand that trading is not necessarily a strategy game. It's more of a mental game. And once you really start understanding that and looking within yourself, trading will be a lot simpler. Control your greed, control your emotions. And that'd be my best advice. Just don't quit. Just do not quit. You don't have to be a
That's incredible. Honestly, that's incredible $1 million advice. Derek, we'd love to have you on for episode 2. I know that people are going to be dying to have you back. For everybody that wants more content, the Expert Trader podcast, episode 1, Mr. Derek Zeledon, thank you so much for stopping by. Conversations with a Six-Figure Trader will be posted. All links will be provided in the comments below. Make sure you guys click and subscribe.
Thank you, Roy.